welcome to week 6 vlog. This week was it was a very strange week because a lot of it was like not in lesson, or like we didn't have to come in for certain days for tutorials, and like post sharing week the timetable was a little bit messed around. So some lessons we didn't have as many lessons as we normally do in. So I'm sorry if there's gaps in this vlog, more than there usually is. Okay, let's just jump in. For singing, lots and lots of rehearsing. I can't remember if it was a rehearsal in or out of lesson, but we did some individually as groups because, once again, Sophie wasn't in this week. So working on like making sure our movements are cleaner without her, just in case, and also easy to slot her in, like I said last week. I think we rehearsed once as a group as well. If not, then we did after sharing week that day, I believe. So sorry, I'm all over the place. Basically running over the whole thing, making sure it's clean. So the transitions between groups, for example, at the end of group 1 singing, we've made it so that when group 2, my group, starts singing for Landand, we start slowly rising and turn, so there's a nice smooth transition and the attention of the audience snaps instead of awkwardly bumbles, which is lovely, which means we keep our audience engaged. So that was effective of working with that. What could be improved, I think we've now got a few gaps because some people have left, some people are ill, some people couldn't come in. So instead of just having awkward gaps in our choreography, and this is for the group as a whole, working around them instead of just ignoring it. Like, we need to figure out what happens if they're not there for the performance and stuff like that. So that was singing, making sure, and just rehearsing a lot. For dance, we did a lot of work on transitions post sharing week. Something we all noticed was there are like some awkward clunky bits where we all just sort of walk off stage. So we've made some bits so that like when we all go to grab like someone from the floor, we've gone up, our arms go up in canon, and they hold our hand and we pull them off, and then we follow them with our hands on their shoulder, as opposed to we hold their hand and then turn around and walk off the stage. So keeping those that engagement and keeping those characters there, which is, I think, is really effective as how we picked out bits that were awkward and clunky that we noticed after performing it, and then really quickly having a turnaround on it and making it look a lot more seamless, and just working together and making sure a lot of the groups that aren't doing the same thing that should be doing the same thing, and things like that. That was effective. So what could be improved on this week, I feel, this week, because we didn't do the dance as a whole a lot and Catherine wasn't there, so there was definitely a lot of drop in emotion, and I've said this for the past couple of weeks, but it really goes up and down. Like this week we felt very detached from the dance, so like it felt like we were just rehearsing it instead of like doing it properly. So as we approach half term, we need to be, also we found out the date of our complete sharing got moved, so that gives us more time, and also we're doing it after the half term, so we need to make sure that focus stays throughout the half term. So that's something we can do over the half term, is going over movements constantly in our head, making sure they don't look too robotic almost. In acting, we had cover, we had Beth, and we did mask work without masks, which is great. It meant I could do it. We had things like so we had our masks in the room, which I'm okay with, and we were looking at them and we started building characters around them. But then also we then disregarded them and did, we got given some photos and stuff like that. Oh, my hair came out. We got given photos of old men, still old men work, and did freeze frames around them and tried to recreate the freeze frames but giving it more character. So we put into 3 groups, I believe, and working with like these old men are all laughing on a bench. What status do they have? What characteristics are we working around? These old men are stood in capes and crowns and all sat around like this. What characteristics are we working with? And things like that. So a lot of intense character work, which was fun. I love doing character work. And then we also did we then moved on and picked the characters we liked most in the freeze frame. Our group chose the posher ones because of a sound I made when because we had to bring them to life. So when I put a crown on my head, I just made a sound and everyone decided it was funny and we would do a whole piece based off of it. So we chose the posh men. And it was really fun to work with a character that's not like traditionally crumpled over and stuff like that. We made them very royal and very regal and a little bit fabulous as well. So very George Takei.